Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you how I fletch my arrows. I use for my 4-vein arrows that I personally use. I use a Bits and Burger jig. This is a right helical, and what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take the old arrow wrap and fletchings off of my arrow. This one, the glue that I was using, I didn't end up liking, so I bought a different kind of glue that I used to use. I haven't used it in a couple years, but it worked better. So first thing I do is I take either an X-Acto knife or a razor knife, utility knife, whatever it is, something sharp to get the arrow wrap off. And I just take my knife and run it down along here, and I scrape all of the arrow wrap off. Take your time, don't get too crazy with it. You don't want to cut into your arrow. It's not very easy to do that, but you don't want to damage your arrow. So take all of that off. I go over lightly with my knife, kind of quick, and just take off any extra little pieces that there might be on there. That is pretty clean. And now what I'll do is I'll take a paper towel and I will put a little bit of mineral spirits on it. And then I will rub down the arrow shaft with some mineral spirits to get rid of any extra adhesive from the arrow wrap. And you can feel usually if there's any extra adhesive on there. As you're wiping it off, you can feel the paper towel stick a little bit. That's pretty clean. Now the Bits and Burger jig can do 3 different fletchings. It can do, or not fletchings I should say, but settings. So it has a 4 fletching setting, which is this middle Allen key is screwed all the way down. The other 2 are all the way out. I believe your standard 3 fletch is the top one, and then there's a different degree. I've never used that. That's the bottom Allen key. So now that I have the arrow cleaned off, a little bit of glue left on there, wipe that off. And then I bought these custom made arrow wraps on 1 stringer. Just a company that I found that makes custom arrow wraps. You can do a little bit more to design them. I don't know if there's any other better companies that you can do more with, but these are pretty basic. I like a white fletching and a white arrow wrap. I had black and yellow on. I thought it looked pretty cool, but as far as seeing the arrow after the shot or whatever, white is my go-to. So what I do actually is it's best to have something a little bit spongy to lay your arrow wrap on so that you can roll. They sell arrow wrap mats, which is basically, in my mind, just an old mouse pad for a computer. But I don't feel like spending the money. I don't do this as a business. I just do this as a hobby. I like doing everything on my own. I like fletching my own arrows, reloading my own bullets, my own shotgun shells. So just one of my hobbies. And what you'll do is you'll sit the arrow wrap on there, sticky side up, take your arrow, make sure it's nice and parallel to the arrow wrap, and just start rolling it across. You'll see it picks up. Before I get all the way around, I make sure that this edge is good and stuck. I work my way around a little bit, and then I'll just kind of run my finger up and down the arrow wrap like so. I'm sure there's a professional out there that might not do it this way or cringe at how I'm doing this, but I've been building arrows for my own arrows for 15 years at least, and probably more like 20. But this works for me. I've gone through a million different things, tried all the fads, 3 fletch helical blazer vanes, 4 fletch helical, 4 fletch straight. They all work well. No real personal preference for me. I think the 4 fletch works really well. I've started shooting that this year. I really like shooting 4 fletch. These are just AAE maxes, but you can buy whatever brand you want. I just picked these, read some good things about them, so that's what I've been using. Now what you'll see on the Bitzenberger clamp is you'll see different lines for where you want to start the back of your fletching. I usually pick the third line up from the bottom, and every once in a while you get a little glue stuck on the clamp itself. I just scrape it off with a knife real quick. Put your fletching in so that the bottom is at that line. And I use Loctite super glue. That's what I started using. Again, it works really well. I've used Gorilla super glue, the gel. It usually works, but the past couple times I've done it, I don't know if it's just going to arrow wraps necessarily. I didn't shoot arrow wraps for a long time just because I didn't feel like spending the money on them. But the Gorilla Glue doesn't seem to stick to the arrow wraps very well. So I bought the Loctite super glue and it seems to work a little bit better. But what I do is I just put some small dabs, evenly spaced, going down the fletching. Just like so. Put the clamp on the vise, or on the Bitzenberger, and then put some even pressure going down the arrow. You'll see it makes a nice seal. And what I'll usually do is if I have an old fletching or something like that, if there's any glue that squirts out, I just usually wipe it off with an old fletching to keep it clean looking. Like I said, I'm not a professional arrow builder, but I've been doing it a long time. I caught my own arrows. I put my own inserts in. If that's something you guys would like to see me do, like and leave a comment, and I could surely do that. I just don't have any new arrows at this moment to do that with. So I'll leave this clamped up for probably, since it's cold, I'm doing this in my garage today. It's nice to have a not so nice table to do this in case you spill some glue or something like that. I don't do it on my dining room table or anything, but I leave it clamped up for a few minutes, especially with these micro diameter shafts. It seems like the fletching, it's a lot of twist for the fletching on the micro diameter, and the longer I leave it clamped, the better that bond holds, and you can make sure you unclamp and the fletching doesn't want to peel off. If I'm doing a straight fletch, it's usually a little bit quicker of a process with the Bitzenberger because you don't have the you don't have to worry about the twist of the arrow. So I'll leave that clamped up for a couple minutes, and then I will show you another version of how I fletch arrows, and it is using my son actually wants me to do one of his arrows for his bow, but this is I believe this is a boning, not sure what brand this one was, but it is a miniature right helical fletch for blazer vanes. So I am going to go grab some blazer vanes, and I will fletch these arrows, an arrow up, and show you how I do that. So now that I'm back with some of these blazer vanes, I'll slide this clamp out of the way, let it dry a little bit longer, and I will pull my son's arrow out. And these I shoot, if anybody's wondering what kind of arrows these are Element Archery Storms. I love these arrows. I've shot them since I think 2017 or 18. And I love these arrows. I've shot a lot of deer with them. Oops. Every once in a while, you get a little overzealous, and that knock actually is a little bit loose. I think it's from my son grabbing and pulling on it when he's pulling out his arrows. So I should actually grab a new knock after this. I'm done with this video, and put a new knock in his arrows so he doesn't have that issue again. So, like I said, scrape any of the glue off that is left on the arrow. Give it a quick rub with some mineral spirits to make sure the arrow shaft is pretty clean. Dry it off. Oh, let me grab that off real quick. So I'll put that knock back in, and then this is a very simple way to fletch arrows. I've done it. I personally like using the bits and burger. It's more time consuming. If I'm fletching arrows for somebody else, or even for myself, if I'm just doing blazer vanes, 3 fletch blazer vanes, I will use this. Got a little bit of glue stuck in here. That's probably the only complaint I have is about using this, is sometimes with the glue it gets a little funny. But so put all 3 fletchings in, and actually this is my, if you're doing, depending on what you're doing, if you're doing multiple colors or if you're just doing one standard color arrow, but I put the off color in the light color wing of the fletching jig. I do the same thing. I put some small dabs on each fletching. That's that, and then you just insert the arrow into the hole in the bottom, and there is a piece of plastic, a cross piece that you slide your knock over to hold your arrow straight, and then all you do is push up on this bottom piece here, and you'll see it unclips. Pull down, and spring activates and pulls the jaws tight. I just kind of tweak them a little bit, make sure they're centered, and then I just leave the arrows sit there for a couple minutes and make sure the glue sets up. So I'll set that off to the side and come back to the bits and burger and see this arrow is set up. It is cold in my garage right now, probably 45 or so degrees. So that's one fletching. And then I'll do the same thing for the other 3. I'm not going to bore you guys too much. I'll show you a finished picture, but I'll give that other clamp a couple minutes to set up in this cold weather, and then I'll pull that out and show you. But same thing, putting small dots of glue down the fletching, and then slide it onto the arrow shaft, push it onto the arrow shaft nice and evenly. Nice even pressure. Take an old fletching, and I just run the fletching down to knock any of the excess glue off or down or spread it out evenly. And I'll leave that sit for another couple minutes. Let's see if this one is set up yet. It seems to be stuck pretty good. Same with that one. Same with that one. So that is a finished arrow out of that jig. And again, I will take a fletching if the glue is not completely set up yet. That is the one bad thing, you can't get in there while the glue is setting up to wipe any of the excess. But usually with super glue, as long as you don't leave it sit there too long, the glue that's not pressed is usually a little bit wet still. So that is a finished arrow. My son will be happy with that. He said he wanted red and white fletchings on his arrow. So that's that with this one. And I will show you a finished picture of that one when I'm all This done. Is the fourth fletching. Let it sit here and dry for a while. Looks like it's set up. Still gonna be a little gentle with them because it is, like I said, cold, and usually it's a lot quicker process than this. But all in all though, that is a completely fletched arrow and ready to go in the woods. If you'd like to see any other videos like this, send me like and subscribe to Rask Outdoors, and follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you very much.